Welcome to the Startup of the Year podcast, where each episode we showcase exciting new companies from around the world. This podcast is produced by Established, creators of the Startup of the Year program. Established is focused on helping organizations with their innovation, startup, and communication strategies.
Welcome back to the Startup of the Year podcast. I'm Frank Gruber, co-founder and co-CEO of Established, co-founder of Established Ventures, and the team behind the Startup of the Year community and this very podcast. On this episode, we're going to hear from Courtney Caldwell and Dr. Tye Caldwell from ShearShare. We'll be chatting about navigating a startup through the pandemic, which was not easy, and they did it. And they've got a story to tell, so looking forward to that. For those unfamiliar, ShearShare is actually a startup that came through our Startup of the Year community out in 2016, and they actually won top prize that year. They were named Startup of the Year, and they went on to raise some funds, and we actually got a chance to invest in them through Established Ventures, and so we're excited and obviously very proud to call them a portfolio company. For those unfamiliar with what they do, ShearShare is the #1 salon and barbershop booth rental app that creates customized, all-inclusive co-working spaces to boost revenue for all industry pros and owners. So they've been doing this for a few years now, and they're #1, so making a lot of headway there, and excited to talk to them here shortly. But before we jump into that interview, I wanted to continue our segment where we're highlighting a startup from our community. On this episode, it's Viva Equity Fund, based out of Austin, Texas. Viva is a housing network that allows tenants the flexibility of renting at market rates while earning up to 8% cash back, which converts to the interest-bearing equity at the end of their lease. I love this company, especially in a housing market like we have right now. And I got a chance to do office hours with their founder, Dr. Michael Barnes, recently. He's actually an alum of the Startup of the Year. He's been involved in other companies and had success, and I'm excited about his new company. To learn more, visit viva.fund. Okay, now let's jump into that conversation with Courtney Caldwell and Dr. Tye Caldwell from ShearShare. Let's talk a little bit about what's been going on. So we don't want to give the whole story because I don't know if we have the amount of time it's going to take. But we saw you in 2016. You went on and raised some funds. Kind of give us a quick version of where you've been at since then, and share us a little bit more about what you've been up to and your most recent move.
The journey's real.
Yes, all the ups and downs, right? Well, when you guys last saw us, we were parents of a high schooler, for sure. Mm-hmm. And so that's thing #1, being married co-founders, obviously. Now our son is a second-year cadet and football player at the United States Air Force Academy.
All right. Woo!
Thank you. Thank you.
Starting safety, if I can brag a little bit.
Amazing.
And, was named All-American this year. So
wow.
As he's learning how to be a pilot. So kudos for him.
Underachiever, obviously.
Definitely overachiever. And I will say this, just to kind of tag him a little bit. First responder bowl, leading tackler, and made Mountain West All-Bowl team.
And ShearShare's first intern. So
wow.
There's the connection there.
Wow, fantastic.
And so now we actually have left Dallas and we're living in Buffalo, New York by way of the 43 North competition.
Woo, all right. So obviously a rough weekend for Buffalo, but in general with the football situation.
We felt that.
I bet. A lot of people did. I think the whole football thing this weekend was crazy. It looked like a video game. But anyway, we won't go there right now. But tell me a little bit, how did that come to fruition with the 43 North?
We were first introduced to 43 North by someone on this team, and I cannot recall the person's name, but it was years ago. Right, and we just kind of, put it on the wayside, and then after COVID hit, and we pivoted the business a little bit. So ShearShare, for those of you who do not know or not aware, we're the first mobile app that connects salon and barbershop owners to individual stylists to fill their empty salon space by the day. So we are affectionately referred to in the industry as Hair B&B. And so it's all about space to work in the beginning, and stylists need professional space to work wherever they are. And thank God, beauty is everywhere and literally touches everyone. And so we revisited this point in time and said, well, let's take a look at the 43 North program. We had friends who had been through it, like Dave and Song from Squire, they're like teetering on unicorn status right now, and talk with them about, what they got out of the program, and, all roads led to, we should go ahead and apply. And so here we are, being Buffalonians.
Nice. That's amazing. So that's great to hear there was a connection with the Startup of the Year and it brought you back. So because we had worked with them in the past, and exciting to see that it all came through. So was curious. So I know that the pandemic was not great for anyone, right? And I know it hit salons and barbershops hard. Can you talk a little bit more about that, and how you got through that, and how you got kind of back onto the plateau here with 43 North and what that was like.
That's great. I think the challenge of the pandemic is that it wasn't just our industry, it was everybody's industry. Everybody's job went to zero. And some cities took a bigger brunt of a hit, like the East and the West Coast, more so than others. I think when you come to Tampa and Texas, where we're at, it seems like it don't exist anymore. But I think during that time, it was really challenging because we were wondering what was going to come of it. And so what we did at ShearShare, we pivoted. We wanted to present much education, give people opportunities where, being that this is an evergreen industry and we touch everybody from the pauper to the president, we wanted to take that time to now introduce people to tools that they never had, and give people understanding as businesses of one and businesses, brick and mortar businesses all over, the opportunity to educate them with what they could have, what they could do as far as with banking, educate them in how to increase their sales, what they could do during the COVID time to for when the opening did come back, how it would be able to help them release a lot of those pressures that they had being cabin fever. And so their businesses were able to flourish. We gave the opportunity to a lot of people who didn't get the PPP loan. So we had about 125 to 150 people who had got denied. We helped them get approved.
Wow.
So those were the things that we were able to do as far as pushing and educating and putting out about 200 pieces of content in education to those people during that time.
So I don't think people realize, like my husband, he'll tell you that he loves this industry more today than he did 30 years ago when he first got started. Like this gentleman earned his doctorate degree in professional barbering cosmetology, wrote a #1 best-selling book, is the first Black male to be member-elect to the Professional Beauty Association, which handles all of our licensing and lobbyists. And so it's a pretty big deal.
Pretty legit, it sounds like.
Legit. I would say so. I think
I would never brag on myself. I let her do it.
I hitched my cart to the right horse. And so, going through COVID, it was a little daunting, I would say. But like Tye said, it wasn't just our industry that was being hit with it. And we've lived in this industry for a while, so we've been through the 07, 08 recession. We've lived through Y2K. We lived through Ebola. We've always seen it go up, right? And there are always more people who say, instead of me being a salaried employee as a stylist, I want to now go out and be an independent contractor and kind of own my own destiny. And so we're seeing that exact same wave hit our industry yet again. And so here we are providing services, space as a service, now insurance as a service, and the list goes on.
And we're partnered with Lloyds of London, so you can't forget that.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So I know you guys, because we obviously we're investors in you as well. We're obviously very thankful to be investors in ShearShare, but wanted to talk about, I know you guys went down to like zero revenue for a while, and that's when you jumped in to help other people. And I think that's pretty fascinating and amazing. Just talks about your character to be able to come in and do that while obviously the house is on fire basically, but you came out of it and now it led to this partnership with Lloyds of London. So talk about that and how that all worked out, the light bulb that kind of went on when you were doing this.
But definitely we dated Lloyds of London for like 2 years. And so it wasn't easy. And I think with Lloyds of London, the same person that underwrote, was it Airbnb's $1 million coverage was the same person that really wrote ours, and it gave us an opportunity to say, hey, you know what, this is a legit company, this is the future of work. And so when we started talking to them about it, we just really having to go through the ins and outs and just them understanding the industry from the needs of not just the users, but the host, and making the host honest for the stylist. It's kind of like the driver of the car, you know what I'm saying? You could always take a cab and take you somewhere, but the brunt of the insurance liability is going to fall back on the host. So just keeping them honest and realizing that as we continue to build this company out, we need to give these people something to rest on as far as safety and liabilities that happen, because this is an industry where something could happen and we want people to feel safe and something to fall back on. So Lloyds of London covered our back with that.
And this is the first time that our industry's ever had access to this. So if you have an independent nail technician, esthetician, microblading artist, barber, they can come to the ShearShare platform, the ShearShare app. It's a free download, by the way. And for $5 a day, get access to up to $1 million in liability insurance coverage. And that you can't get anywhere else, exclusive to the ShearShare platform.
Right, and you need that to be able to do what they do, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it makes it like literally a click away. Wow.
So for $5 a day, you get $1 million coverage.
Yeah.
And then the hosts themselves, the owners, already have to have coverage. And then they sit back on another $1 million coverage just for being on the platform.
Wow. That's fantastic. So that came through from just figuring it out. I mean, that was not the initial plan with what you were doing, and now you're kind of built this platform.
Well, you're trying to really get rid of disintermediation. You know what I'm saying? So someone can come to my salon. I still own a salon in Dallas that my brother runs. and someone could get their first ShearShare stay and say, hey, you know what? Calvin, he's the owner there. He's a host there. Could I just come here and not go through ShearShare? And he's like, well, I prefer you to go through ShearShare, get the insurance, and if something happens, it doesn't fall back on them because they're not an employee. At the end of the day, if you're not an employee and you're a contractor, and especially if you're working by the day, you don't want to put that liability on you and then lose your insurance. So I think it was fair. It's a fair trade-off, but it keeps the host honest. And I think with having insurance, it's something that people need. It's not sexy, but we need it. So
We all need it,
I think
yeah.
at the end of the day, we want to keep those hosts honest. And I think Lloyds of London hit the nail on the head when they trusted us.
Are there other services as well that you can? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You want to share anything about it, or is it too early?
No. So again, during COVID, right, you're looking up at the walls and thinking, okay, how the heck are we just gonna not die and come out of this? Because again, we've lived through this industry, and we know we just got to get to the corner so we can turn it. And so we just started asking our community of salon and barbershop owners and stylists, how can we be the most helpful for you? And honestly, at the end of the day, it was help me keep food on the table. Like, how can you get money in my pockets today, even though I don't have my hands in someone's head or on someone's face right now? And so we help them understand the relationships that they have, like with their bankers, and why those are kind of important right now. How to transition some aspects of their business to an online model. We're actually coming out with version 2 of the ShearShare platform this month. That provides a virtual beauty supply store. So now they can sell their independent products on the ShearShare app. They may not be able to walk into Target and get shelf space today, but they can sell their independent products on the platform. And then you think about retail sale through, you think about portable health benefits. And we're trying to give that all to this large B2B ecosystem, but on a pay-as-you-go basis.
Wow, that's fantastic. All right, so when you guys started, I know you were just focused on the salon space and the bookings and all that, and obviously you've come a long way. And I want to talk about the journey from an investment perspective, because I know you have some things on the horizon. And what has it been like start to finish? I know there's been ups and downs just like any startup journey, but tell me how it's been with the raising funds, I guess you could say.
Oh my goodness. Well, I will say that winning Startup of the Year helped to open some doors, right? We don't have to knock as loudly. And so that has been the beginning of our 6-year process. But now we're raising almost $6 million for ShearShare and have some amazing investors behind us. Charles Hudson with Precursor, Google for Startups, Mary Grove with Bread and Butter Ventures, 43 North, of course, you and Jen, Arlen Hamilton, Steve Case, Rise of the Rest, Mark Cuban. I mean, the list goes on. And so we're very happy that these folks also see our vision behind ShearShare, because they can very easily say, no, not for me. And we literally, when we were bootstrapping ShearShare for 3 years, we had 100 meetings before we got our first no.
Oh my God, it's really about relationships. I think that, when we think about the journey, the ups and downs of the journey, it's not just about just going into that investor's office. We learned a long time ago, going through 500 startups with that win, is that all the investors know each other. So it's all about how you present yourself. And so we always took it upon ourselves to be respectful, professional, but at the end of the day, be our authentic and genuine selves. And I think that they can see through all that magic once you really get in there, or all that muck, or whatever you want to call it. But I think that the investors talked to each other, and those investors who invested had friends who wanted to invest, and then being a part of 43 North, getting to that finish line as we were going through investment then, 43 North investors brought us through it.
All right. I'm excited about your next round here.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share with the audience here? We've got an audience here, but then also on the live stream.
But yeah, we were talking, Courtney and I, like, what do we want to share? And I think coming from Texas, Dallas, Texas, very progressive city, and a lot of businesses, a lot of people move there. It's a mass entrance of people moving there from California, whether it be New York, whether it be Chicago. And I think sometimes the startup scene is not overlooked, but it's not as sexy. And so sometimes it's just really hard to get through that noise. And so going to a place like Buffalo, being a part of 43 North, you have people in every city, but especially cities like Buffalo, who's really looking at a resurgence in the next 3 to 5 years, where there are people there that literally have the capital, have the funds, and they really want to put it back into the city from back in the old days. And so bringing those startups there and really getting not just the state behind them, but also getting those funds to utilize, bringing in that extra vision, that extra experience, that exposure from other startups like ourselves to really help that resurgence. Because I think sometimes when you look at a city like Buffalo, being there and going to the games and seeing that people sometimes don't leave, they really don't have that exposure to see what people on the outside see. So ShearShare just really wants to sit our thumbprint and our footprint there and just really show the city what we are going to bring them in this next 3 to 5 years, growing with them.
That's interesting. And obviously something to be said for that, being the big fish in a small pond versus the other way around, right? And that's I guess the lesson learned for any startup, whether it be in Buffalo or Tampa or any other market that's not like San Francisco, New York, and Boston.
I
So
was telling Courtney, Tampa looks kind of like Buffalo a little bit, but just on the east coast of the coastal cities. Yeah.
a little warmer, less
A little bit
snow.
warmer. We are getting used to the cold. We had to purchase our first puffer jacket. We had our
Nice.
first time on skis at 43 North Ski Day.
Oh, wow.
Learn how to pizza.
Yeah, the pizza. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's fun.
But I would tell any other startup founder, wherever you choose to go, because you're making risk, you're taking risk every single day, right? And you're hoping that if I jump off this cliff, I'm going to grow my wings on the way down. Just know that wherever you go, wherever you land next, you're bringing all of your successes, both past and future, with you to that new location.
And just be honest and stay relational, be genuine, and allow your light to shine everywhere you go.
All right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here today, and congratulations on everything you've been able to do.
Thanks for all your support.
Thank you very much to the Caldwells. Always a pleasure catching up with them. We're super happy to be part of their bright future and hope that others in our community can learn from their story. So that's why we bring them on the stage and want them to share all their learning so that everyone can be successful. All right. For those unfamiliar, maybe you didn't get a chance to watch it, but we did host our 9th annual summit, Startup of the Year Summit, in Tampa in January. And if you didn't get a chance to attend or watch it, we did live stream it online. And you can actually go check out that entire 2-day set of sessions and interviews, just like the one you just heard. Simply go to our YouTube channel. If you're already a subscriber to our established YouTube channel, you probably already saw it, or you could get a notification about it. If not, simply go to soty.link/ESTYouTube. Again, it's soty.link/ESTYouTube. It'll take you directly to the live stream, and you can watch it to your own delight. Pause it, start it, restart it, rewind it, everything you need to do. All right, hopefully you enjoy it. For all those folks that are out there and that really enjoyed this session, I appreciate you being here. Hopefully you can share this with somebody that you think might find it helpful. We believe in that, so please do spread the love. And for those that have an idea and want to get it started, today is the best day to start up. Not tomorrow, not the next day. Today, get it going, get it started, and make change in the world. And in doing so, I encourage you to join our community for access to support, expert advice, and resources that you'll need to elevate your startup. Simply go to startupofyear.com and apply, or go to soty.link/apply. It should get you right in there, and you can take advantage of a lot of the different things that we do regularly. All right, well, that's this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Until next time, I'm Frank Gruber. Don't forget to hug your loved ones. Please do that, and good luck out there starting up. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Startup of the Year podcast. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll be back with another episode soon.